ברוך השם, אנחנו נמצאים בבית משר של צבי, יש לנו הכבוד של שני בר מצווהs, 2 bar mitzvah boys. Okay, what is your name, may I ask?
Gene in English, Yitzhak in Hebrew, Berkovich.
Berkovich. And what do we call you guys? What's your names?
David and Yonatan.
David and Yonatan. You had your bar mitzvah yesterday in Eretz Yisrael, and you're going back in a few hours, going back to Haftar. So you're going to have the big Haftarah. And I wanted to start the shir with Ani Yoter Anglit Me'ivrit. For those who wanted the English, I wanted to start with the idea that we're waiting. What are we waiting for? 2 more days? 2 more days. We're going to have 3 hostages, Chatufim, Chatufot, Avod Chatuf Echad. I say, Al tiyeh Chatuf, Al tiyeh Chatuf. Anyway, we're going to have. They're going to be freed. And what do we have to wait?
Chatuf Patach?
Chatuf Patach, that's right. We're going to open up the doors for the Chatufim. And אבל חשבתי על זה it's 479, 479 days since, and I talked about Lucky once before. Lucky is Lishuascha. Guys, remember this. You always should be lucky. Lishuascha kivisi Hashem. That's what Lamed Kuf Yud.
How does that work?
It works this way that
Yud K.
Yud K Vevot K. It's Yishuascha kivisi Hashem, which is also when we were in the 49th level of Tumah, we were redeemed, and that's why it's in Bereshis Mem Tes Pasuk Chai. Chai. That's Yishuascha kivisi Hashem. You should remember that. And when do we say Shabbos? It says in Gemara Shabbos. You guys learn Gemara at all?
A little bit.
Okay, so in Gemara and Shabbos, Lamed Aleph, which is 31, Amid Aleph, it says, you're after 100,000 years, when Mir Hashem you go to the pearly gates, they're asked all questions, Nasasa, Menasata, Memuna, did you conduct your business okay? And they ask you, Tzipisa Liyeshua, did you wait for the salvation? We're waiting 2 more days. There are going to be some Chatufim released, at a great expense, unfortunately, as anybody could see by the pictures of yesterday, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to get into the idea that we wait for the Yeshua. And what else do we say? In Shemon Esrei, the 15th bracha. Do you know what the 15th bracha is? In Shemon Esrei, out of 19? Es semach David avdecha meheras atzmiach v'karnei tarim tebishoscha Kili Yishuascha Kivinu Kol Hayom.
What's up in the shul?
Ken. Baruch Atah Hashem. Okay, Matzmiach Keren Yeshua. Vani Shamati May Rav Nissen Vafogel May Mashkiach Shel Lakewood. I heard from the Mashkiach Lakewood. What does it mean, Matzmiach Keren Yeshua? What it means is over the generations we always prayed for the Mashiach, but we didn't get it. Does that mean that we weren't worthy of it? No, it's a matzmiach keren, just like you put a seed into the ground and you water it and you irrigate it and then it grows. That's matzmiach. You cause the growth of the Yeshua by waiting, mitzapim the Yeshua. And we also say during Pesukei Zimah, we say in Ashrei, which comes from Tehillim Kuf Mem He Yutes, Ritzon Yirav Yasa Ve'eshav Osam Yishma V'Yoshem. If we daven, tzaddikim daven, and we look for Yeshua. And then we say Shmos Yudalid Lamed Vayosha Hashem Bayomahu. And what are we talking about? It also says in Avadyo. You ever hear of Avadyo? It's a very easy sefer to learn. It's from the Treyasar. Why? Because it's only one. It's only one chapter, and the last pasuk of that chapter, Chaf Aleph, is Va'alu Moshiim Bahar Tzion Lishpodes Harisav Va'isal Hashem Hamlulcha. We look the Moshiim. We look for the Yeshua, and what will happen? The last pasuk of Avadya. What does it say? Rashi says, She'ein Malchus Shlema Ad Sheyifra Me'amalek. When we get rid of our enemies, Yipora. Once we get rid of our enemies, we can experience the true Yeshua. So when we say Matzmeach Ken Yeshua, what do you have in mind, guys? You said for you it means the end of school. For you, it means all sorts of things during the day. But the real Yeshua is waiting for Klal Yisrael, for all, not to have the million of enemies waiting to kill us. And even in the U.S., you guys wear yarmulkes in the streets. You got to be careful, because Nebuch, all sorts of things. Anyway, that's the beginning of the shir. Today is Chav Chet Tevet. We're getting close to Rosh Chodesh Shvat, and Tu B'Shvat Yagia. Okay, we want to wish Refuah Shlema to Aryeh Leib Ben Tuva, Yari Nisim. You know, it's unbelievable how much the producer over there remembers everything. I'm reading and I leave out everything. I'm reading, and you see that?
That's why I get paid the big bucks.
You do. You're the driver. You keep driving me crazy. Aryeh Leib Ben Chaitu. By the way, I wrote it wrong. Yari Nisim Ben Ofra, Pesach Yosef Ben Hinda. You know who Pesach Yosef Ben Hinda is? That's
Kron.
Pesach Kron. You know about Pesach Kron, right? He had a stroke in the back. You know, he's the famous lecturer.
Rabbi Pesach Kron.
Rabbi Pesach Kron. Nebuch was very, very sick, and now he's in what's called rehab. He's doing better. Rabbi Pesach Kron. So we say Refuah Shlema, Pesach Yosef Ben Hinda. And then there's a Tinok Ben Nechama who still has not had a bris, and Binyamin Ben Daniel Margolis, and Chaim Daniel Ben Hodaya. I said that right.
Hodaya.
Oh, here I go. Always, I'm telling you. Ich will sagen dich. Ich will sagen euch. Okay, I stand corrected, as they say in the business. Yisrael ben Inbal Esther, Kulam Refuah Shlema. Ani gam kein tzitati kama chayalim. I mentioned a few chayalim. Okay, we start the shir. This is, by the way, is a shir in Shmirat ha'lashon.
We start the shir with Tehillim.
We started with Tehillim, and we also mentioned the yard sites for today that we're going to talk about. The Rav David Nito, the Kuzari.
Oh, David Nito, the Kuzvi Sheni.
You looked at this.
No.
You really do know
In
about
London.
it? What?
He was in London.
Yes. Oh, well, we're going to hear from
And he
Glenn.
got, you know what happened to him?
What happened to
He
him?
gave a drasha on Shabbos.
Right.
And in the drasha he said that the Hateva is Gematria Elokim.
Right, and he got into trouble.
And they chased him out of shul.
I heard all about it. I'm reading about it too.
See?
So it was a controversy, and that's why he wrote his sefer in the same method style of the Kuzari with questions and answers. But we'll talk about him.
Where are you going to?
They're going
Keep
up.
going straight.
Where?
You know where Leonardo Plaza, that ugly building above the Shofar side, a really ugly building on the corner.
Agron.
On a grove?
Agron and King George.
And King George. We pass it. Okay, so it's also
You're like 2 minutes from.
it's also the yard site of Eliyahu Meir Ben Yosef Yehuda Leib Bloch. Eliyahu Meir Bloch, who you know from Tells.
Right.
And Reb Fall Shmuel Ben Aryeh Leib Birnbaum, the Mashgiach of Mir Yeshiva, who wrote Kol Ram. Anyway, so these are the yard site for today.
On that note,
Yes, we're going to say today's Tehillim, which is a long one. I usually curtail it, but we're doing Kuf Yud Ches, and we might stop it to have some Nigunim in the middle. Today, Perak Yud Kuf Yud Ches.
תהילים פרק קי"ח. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמר נא ישראל, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמרו נא בית אהרון, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמרו נא יראי אדוני, כי לעולם חסדו. מן המצר קראתי יה, ענני ומרחביה. אדוני לי לא ירא, מה יעשה לי אדם? אדוני לי בעוזרי, ואני אראה ושונאי. טוב לעשות באדוני, מבטוח באדם. טוב לעשות באדוני, מבטוח בנדיבים. כל גויים סבבוני, בשם אדוני כי עמילם. סבוני גם סבבוני, בשם אדוני כי עמילם. סבוני כדבורים, דועכו כאש קוצים, בשם אדוני כי עמילם. דחו דחיתני לנפול, ואדוני עזרני. עוזי וזמרתיה, ויהי לי לישועה. כל
עודך.
עודך כי עניתני, ותהי לי לישועה. אבן מעשו הבונים, הייתה לראש
Yeah.
בינה.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
We'll
Right,
just-
here's
את
Yeah,
אדוני
perfect. This is
העת
perfect.
הזאת, היא נפלט בעינינו.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay,
for
כל
the
טוב.
נגילה.
Have a safe
מזל
trip.
טוב.
Thank you. We'll see you back in Woodward. Hopefully it's maybe back here.
ענה אדוני, הצליחה נא. ברוך הבא בשם אדוני, ברכנוכם
ברוך
מבית
הבא.
אדוני. אל אדוני ויער לנו, יסרו חג
These are his
בעבותים,
kids?
Yes.
עד קרנות
But-
המזבח.
But he's here a while.
Yes, he is. This time he did the bar mitzvah. He comes here every so often.
When he comes, he
From
lives in
Woodmere. I know
America.
him from the young Israel of Woodmere.
חסדו.
He's the Nate's minion. Acheinu
Chenu,
kol beis Yisrael.
El,
Acheinu
Kol Beis
Yisrael.
Yisrael,
Anesunim betzara.
Batzara uvashivya,
עומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה.
Yavasha.
המקום ירחם עליהם יוציאי מצרה ורווחה מאפל ליאורה ומשיבה לגאולה השלה בגולה ובזמן קריב. We know my amen. Did you know any niggin that you want to say? Oh, lecha. Kiani son. Yeah, we could have done Korina Vishua. Bialei Tzadikim. So many nigunim.
We could have done Meyena Meitzah,
Karasika Anani Bamerchav Kam.
I always say this over. אני תמיד אומר את זה. יש ספר של המביט, זה נקרא בית אלוקים. וזה שלוש חלקים בתוך ספר אחד. זה מחולק לשער התפילה ושער עוד שני שערים, אבל הראשון זה שער התפילה. שם הוא אומר, שואל, מן המיצו קורוסיקו, ענוני במרחב כה. הוא אומר, מה אנחנו מבקשים? מה אנחנו אומרים? אז הוא אמר שהוא כותב ככה, שבדרך כלל, שבן אדם לא עלינו נהיה חולה, אף על פי שהוא מבריא, אז הוא אף פעם לא מבריא למצב שהיה עוד לפני שהיה חולה. זה מבריא, אבל
כמעט.
זה לא אותו
לא
דבר.
לגמרי, לא לגמרי.
כשבן אדם היה חולה, זה לא אותו דבר, יכול להבריא, אבל זה לא כמו שהוא היה לפני בכלל שהוא היה חולה. אז הוא אומר, זה מה שאנחנו מתפללים. מן המיצה קורוסיקו, אני קורא לך הקדוש ברוך הוא מן המיצה, מהמצב הצר שלי, ענוני, אבל תענה לי במרחב, ברחבוס כזה, ככה שהייתי, או לפני שהייתי, ככה.
מי אומר את זה? המביט. Okay, wow. You have to have a good vision to understand this.
Actually, I'm going to the eye doctor today.
Oh, do you see that?
Do you see that? Is that a pun?
Ayin tachas ayin. That's it. One good eye. One good eye.
You said, did you see that? That was a pun.
Eye. It's an eye for an eye.
As a matter of fact.
Oh, here we go. I could hear it coming.
No, it's very interesting. There's a Yiddish. We'll slip in the Yiddish.
Okay, dahinter nayavot, yeah.
אתמול בלימוד בחבור שאני לומד,
ביידיש?
הראש, לא, בחבור, כשהראש חבור שלנו, אז כשמתחילים ללמוד, הוא אומר, נוח המול, וידר המול, נוח המול, וידר המול. אז אתמול שאלתי אותו,
וידר המול.
נוח המול, אני יודע מה זה נוח המול, מה זה וידר המול? מה הפירוש?
Like it was once. Like it was.
אז הוא אמר, לא יודע, נוח זה עוד וידר. אז אתמול היה לי חבגוסה בלילה, רקוב, אז רדתי איתו, ברוך השם, יותר טוב. אז שאלתי, הוא יודע יידיש טוב טוב. אז שאלתי אותו, אמרתי, מה זה נוח המול וידר המול? What's meant וידר המול?
Like it was once.
אז הוא אמר, זה לא יידיש. It's German.
Shmayo.
It's German.
Oh.
He said, and what was the raya that he brought that it's German? Maya raya lazeh. Raya lazeh, or maybe big German. I mean, Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen. I'll see you again. אז noch einmal, wieder einmal, זה אותו דבר. זה רק בג'רמן.
I thought it was like wieder mal in Yiddish, like it was once again. But okay, very good. Okay. And we wanted to talk about David ben Pinchas Neto, who was who was born in Venetia in 1654, but niftar London, and 1728. אנחנו נמשיך את השיעור, אבל למדנו את היידיש, wieder einmal. That's it.
I'm going to send you something. You can pass it on if you think it's appropriate. A tone of our Mankal, Yossi Levi, was at the Knesset a few days ago. And he socked it to them. So I think you'll enjoy
Really? And Chizuk. The Divrei Chizuk?
He's telling them that
we Baruch Hashem, we
stop trying to be megayis, that they've been yeshivot.
Right. Okay. Very good.
He says, first, there are plenty of Haredim that are not in yeshiva, that are working and should be doing army service. Those are the ones you have to get into the army. The other ones we need to sit and learn.
In other words, don't be a universal draft. It should be a selective.
Right.
Isn't that what they called it? Selective service? Wasn't that called selective service? The draft?
Right.
You wouldn't know about it. You were too young.
Right.
You didn't. I got a 4D.
I
got a 1A. I was drafted.
I had a
June 16/8. You don't remember what you got? Didn't you have a lottery number?
2S.
Oh, you got a 2S student.
I was in university.
Oh, so you got a 2S.
Right.
I got the 1A when I graduated from Columbia. That meant Vietnam. And then a month later, I got Kerem Yavna. So 4D.
So you went from a 1A,
1A
to a KB.
KB. Kosher boy. Kerem Yavna. Yes. Anyway, so, okay.
I had no idea, speaking about KLBD, Kosher London Based-In.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I had no idea that Bendick, do you eat the Bendick chocolate mints from England?
Most probably.
They're the best. They're the best. I had no idea that in December 2023 they lost their hashgacha.
Oh, hear that, guys? You're hereby warned.
And the Jewish world, especially apparently in England, was in an uproar. What are we going to do without our Bendick's mints? What are we going to do?
So you have what do they call that in Switzerland? They have that. What do you call that chocolate over in Switzerland? Oh, come on! I'm trying to remember. Schmerling.
Yeah, but this Bendick, this is unique.
Special.
This is unique.
Because of that, I might have to buy some.
Yeah, if you never had it, you should really
get it. I'm
really
a chocolate. I'm chocolate maniac.
Oh, you should take.
Chocolate.
You take that mint one and you put it in your mouth. Boom.
Oh, what's Bendick?
Bendick.
Bendick.
Okay. Bendick. Anyway.
Well, by the way, this program is not being sponsored by Bendick. I just let you know that.
The good news is that they
gave back the kashrus.
They gave back their kashrus. Now I'll tell you a story. An unrelated to Bendick, but a story that I heard from we just had his yurt site, Rav Shlomo Brevda.
Okay. Yes.
So I used to go to his shiurim in Yiddish many years ago, and I didn't understand anything. So he told a story.
I put in the chat the English. He
told the story. Shall I be speaking in Hebrew or in English?
Except both.
So הוא סיפר ככה, הוא סיפר סיפור מעניין. הוא לא אמר את השם, אבל אני חושב שזה אני גם לא אגיד את השם. אבל זה איזה
You know what? Say it in
יצרן.
English. Yeah, let's say it in English.
There was a manufacturer of chocolates in America that wanted to have a hechsher. So they came to the rabbi's house, who was the Rav Machshir, who was going to give the hechsher. And when they came in, so they brought a big, beautiful platter of the chocolates and gave it to the Rebbitzin. So the Rebbitzins' grandchildren were there as well. So they got all excited. So they said to Bubby, says, is it kasher? She said, Od ma'at zehiyeh kasher.
That's a great story. That's a great story. Od ma'at yeh kasher.
Od ma'at yeh kasher.
Hechsher. Okay. Anyway, this is good business. Anyway, Geschäft. You know what a Geschäft is.
Now, a Geschäft, I always thought as a business, but a Geschäft doesn't mean business. It's
profession.
a store. It means a
A store,
store.
geschäft?
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. Because most people had stores for their profession.
Like, du gehst zu sein Geschäft.
Yeah, and you're really to your store. Okay. Ich gehe zu mein Hoin. Mein Hoin. Mein Heus. Ich trug Heus. Ich trug Heus. And ich gehe zum Heus.
Trughuis. Huizen.
Yes. Heusen.
Du gehst zu
Zum Heusen.
dein Haus.
Okay, very good.
Hey,
Heim
Tommy!
Tovim! There we go. Have a good one, Tzvi. Okay, I have to straighten myself out. Let's continue this year. Chaim Yisrael ben Freda Hadassah, Refuah Shlema David Daniel ben Shoshana. I'm sorry, Lenny, I keep forgetting your name, Aryele ben Chai Tuva. Okay, so we said it the right way again today. Everyone should have a Refuah Shlema. And we want to continue the yard site, the Kuzari Sheni, Shamanu, at Hagdama, a preface by Tzvi, talked about that story, which I'm going to repeat from Shmaryahu's Gilyon. Shmaryahu prepares these Gilyonot, and they are amazing. And Mirz Hashem, it's going to become a book. So we have Ashir Shalanu is a preview. It's really a preview of the book that will be published. Okay, let me continue. Okay. Achrei Ptirat Rav David, הודפס בלונדון במאמר שכתב בספרדית נגד הארצ'בישופ והוכיח שבשקר שם עלילות דברים על יהודים. רב דוד חיבר גם שירים. היה מתנגד חריף לכת של שבתאי צבי, את ספרו איש דת, חיבר נגד נחמיהו חיות, who was the manhig of the Shabtoyim, who lived from 1650, 1650 עד 1730. חיבורו החשוב של רב דוד נטו הוא הספר מטה דן, או הכוזרי השני שכתבו בעברית ובספרדית בסגנון הכוזרי של יהודה הלוי, לבאר את אמיתת קבלת התורה שבעל פה. בו הוא מבאר שחז"ל היו בקיאים בכל החכמות. רב דוד כותב בהקדמה שכדי שלא לאפשי במחלוקת על הכוזרי שלי, אני מודיע נאמנה לכל קורא בספרי שלא היו כדברים האלה, כי מליבי אני בודעם, וממאי לא ראיתי לא מלכות כוזר ולא מלך כזר, אלא שדרכתי אחר כתובות of Yehuda Halevi. In other words, he's telling them he never really meant the Khazars. This is all fiction, and it's based on Yehuda Halevi's Kuzari. עכשיו, רב דוד נטו היה הראשון שחישב זמני כניסה לשבת ללונדון ולאמסטרדם, וגם זמני הליקויים, eclipses, לעשרת השנים הבאות. ספרון זה קרא בינה לעיתים. שמורה בספרייה עץ חיים באמסטרדם. תשובה הלכתית יחד מיישוב סתירת רמב"ם במה שכתבה תרומס מחולס הסורס. החידה בשם הגדולים מפליא בשבח הספר הזה, זה כוזרי השני, היה חכם וחכמות פילוסוף ותוכן וחכם בתשבורת, which is mathematica. The Shagas Aryeh, Rav Aryeh Leib Ginsburg, הכיר בחשיבותו הגדולה של הספר הכוזרי השני והשתדל בהצעתו מחדש בעיר מינץ. Okay, so we wanted to talk about ב-1702 הוא חיבר ספר והוכיח שהעותרים טועים בחשבונותם. Okay, באותו שנה נקרא ללונדון, in 1702 he was called to London למלא מקום רב שלמה אילם בתור אב בזין לקהילת הספרדים שערי שמיים. שם חיבר בתלכיד את הספר Divine Providence, בו הוכיח שהשם יסברך הוא מנהיג הטבע, הוא משיב הרוח אוקיי, רבים מאנשי הקהילה חשדו בו שהוא נוטה לדעותיו של ספינוזה, ואומרו שהשם יסבורך והטבע אחד הוא. ראשי הקהילה פנו בעניין זה לרבה של אמסטרדם, רב צבי אשכנזי, החכם צבי, והוא הצדיק את רב דוד נטו. That's what Tzvi was referring to. Okay, today is also the orchard of Eliel Meir ben Yosef Yehuda Leib Bloch. נולד ב-1894 ונפטר ב-1955. נולד בתלס, אמו היה ביתו של רבי אלעזר גורדון, הוא היה מייסד ישיבת תלס. ב-1900 נישא רבקה, ב-1928 התמנה לכהן ראש ישיבת תלס. הקומוניסטים בצבא אדום סגרו את הישיבה, הישיבה פיצל ל5 סניפים. ב-1941 עבר לקליבלנד וייסד מחדש הישיבה, היה ראש ישיבה, חיבר, היה חבר מועצת גדולי התורה, למד שמשפחתו ותלמידי ישיבה בתלס נרצחו על ידי הנאצים יימח שמם. אוקיי, היום זה יארצייט של רב פואל שמואל בן אריה לייב בירנבאום, 1920, נולד, נפטר ב-2008, נולד בפולין, ושנספו בשואה, יחד עם משפחתו. העמיד בישיבת אוהל תורה אצל רבי חנן וסרמן, ואחר כך ישיבת מיר, דרך שנגחאי, סין, עבר לאמריקה, נישא לביתו של ראש ישיבת אברהם קלמנוביץ', השתקע בברוקלין ב-1964, אחרי פטירת חמיו, מונה לראש ישיבה מיר בברוקלין, חבר אגודת אזוב, בקוראי שמו לקט חיבר אגודת אזוב, בקוראי שמו לקט חידושי תורה, אימרן שברונות. אוקיי, עד כאן היורצייטים של היום. אנחנו לומדים התחלת פרק ו', היום זה סליחה, היום זה לא התחלה, אנחנו ממשיכים פרק ו', כ"ח טבת, נברר דברינו כפי רוב בה, אסור מחלוקת ולשון הרע חילות על ידי דבר קטן, שנדמה ברעיונותיו שפלוני נגע לו בזה. Lashon Hara starts with just a little insult, provocation. And a person doesn't let go, and he says, I want the full force of the law. I'm not going to give up anything. He gets involved in all machlokas. אבל אם יסכים בדעתו תלמיד, דהיינו קודם שבו הניסיון לידו של מדילה שמעביר על מידותיו, שהיא עצמה מידה של שמירת הלשון, שמוק שחשפתי בפנים הספר. If a person resolves not to get angry and not to be so picayune, צריך להוציא מעט מאוד שבכל שנה כמו על שאר כל מצוות. So he should invest money that every time he gets upset, he should actually have money available to put into charity so that he won't commit. He will lose that feeling of hakbada. Just think if you had the mitzvah tzitzis with the tchelis, and if you had a beautiful esrog, ruble kesef, which was the 4 or 5 rubles, just put it aside to invest in the study of Mishmeres Hashon. That's $400, the equivalent. Afilu im eno usher yosef b'zeh, b'vadai ein chashud adam Yisrael sheyishbot milakayim mitzvot machman zeh. Person would not forsake any mitzvot, unless a person doesn't have any money. So a person should learn to be forgiving, because if you, instead of being upset, you take it easy, even though this is not a specific commandment, it's a good trait. Halo yaduahu shalafi Katnus sechlenu kashma od la'adam le'dat din Torah b'veiror b'ein makom shemutar hakpid al chavero l'river with person doesn't really know enough Torah to know whether he should be very careful about, should he react to something that is challenging to him. Because in his mind, he might think that the person attacked him. We're not talking about someone who steals from his pocket, things like that, which is, he has a right to be challenged. And a person is so close to himself, he doesn't realize that he's biased. A person who's always fighting and disputes everything and is argumentative, he's going to land up stealing and getting involved in Lashon Hara, Kai Gavna. This, in other words, this Midah Tova, this good attribute, turns out to be more important than performing all the mitzvahs, because it leads to all sorts of terrible averos. And with that, we finish a long shir today. Everyone should have Yom Tov.